turn off your mind, relax, and float downstream with the I'm in Love with That Song podcast coming to you via the Pantheon Podcast Network. My name is Brad Page. Thanks for joining me on this voyage as we explore a different song each episode, discovering what goes into making a great song. Great songs are both of their moment and timeless, but sometimes a song can resonate with the times in a new way as it never did before. It can take on new meaning, a new relevance, years after it was originally written or recorded. I'm sure you can think of a dozen songs like that. Here's one of those songs that's surprisingly relevant today. No Blue Sky by the Thorns.
There's no blue sky in my town lately. Everybody looks at the ground, and where I am is making me hazy. But the sun never looks so pretty going down.
We'll be right back after this message. I was listening to this album by the Thorns again the other day. I fell in love with this album back when it first came out in 2003. It's another one of those records that I'll never understand why it wasn't a big hit. The Thorns were a supergroup of sorts, kind of a modern-day Crosby, Stills and Nash. The Thorns were Matthew Sweet, Shawn Mullins, and Pete Droge. All three were successful solo artists. Shawn Mullins had the biggest hit with Lullaby in 1998, but Matthew Sweet probably had the most dedicated following. He's made so many great records, I've lost count. Around 2001, Pete Droge and Shawn Mullins started working together, writing songs. There were other singer-songwriters that came into and out of the project, but nothing really clicked until Matthew Sweet joined in. Sweet and Mullins had the same manager, so there was some connection there. But when Sweet played them a song he was working on called I Can't Remember, the three of them finished it together, and that's when they knew there was some real magic happening. They worked with an all-star lineup in the studio, including producer Brendan O'Brien, keyboard player Roy Bittan from Springsteen's E Street Band, and legendary drummer Jim Keltner. They recorded an album of 13 tracks filled with beautiful melodies and rich harmonies. The album was released in May 2003, and nothing. It sold quite a few copies, and it got some airplay, but it was nowhere near as big as it should have been. It should have been one of the best-selling albums of the year. I just don't get it. It would be the only album the Thorns ever made. So I'm listening to this album a few days ago, and when it gets to track number 6, No Blue Sky, though I've heard it dozens of times, it hit me in a way it never has before. This song from over 20 years ago felt to me like it could have been written now, in these days, thick with division, anger, and fear, with the specter of COVID-19 haunting us.
Cold outside, but I don't blame the weather. No one's calling, no one's at the door. But I can't stay inside all day. Blinds pulled to the floor.
No one's calling, no one's at the door, but I can't stay inside all day. I'm sure that connects with many of you. The first verse is built on acoustic guitars and vocals, and right from the start you can hear just how well their three voices blend.
Cold outside, but I don't blame the weather. No one's calling, no one's at the door. But I can't stay inside all day.
Now an electric guitar enters to lift us into the chorus.
There's no blue sky in my town lately. Everybody looks at the ground, and where I am is making me hazy. But the sun never looks so pretty
During the chorus, the acoustic guitars are strumming while the electric guitars are playing arpeggios. And it sounds like there's a Leslie rotating speaker effect on one of those electric guitars. The chorus makes me think of those fires that raged across Australia earlier this year and that are burning now all through the west coast of America. There's no blue sky in my town lately. Everybody looks at the ground. And where I am is making me hazy. But the sun never looks so pretty going down.
There's no blue sky in my town lately. Everybody looks at the ground. And where I am is making me hazy. But the sun never looks so pretty going down.
Whereas the first verse was all acoustic guitars, on the second verse, the piano, probably played by Roy Bittan, has taken over as the main instrument.
It ain't right, feels like forever. So many changes, I stopped keeping score.
It ain't right, feels like forever. So many changes, I stopped keeping score. Boy, that feels true. For the second half of this verse, a string section is added. The strings were arranged by Paul Buckmaster, a legend in his own right. Like I said, it's an all-star cast on this album.
But if you want me, you know where I will be. I don't get out much anymore.
If you want me, you know where to find me. I don't get out much anymore. That pretty much sums up my life now. Here's the second chorus. The strings really add an emotional tug to this chorus.
'Cause there's no blue sky in my town lately. Everybody looks at the ground. I've been distracted and all out crazy. But the sun never looks so pretty going down.
The sun never looks so pretty going down. Let's think about that line for a bit. I am very lucky. The house we live in now, I can look out the picture window or sit on the deck and watch the sun set every night. It's beautiful. In the song, the sunset never looks so pretty, maybe because it means it's the end of a long, hard day. You're glad it's over. Or maybe it means that even in an isolated, lonely world, there's still beauty. Don't forget to take it in. The sun going down could be the end of a day, or it could be metaphorically the end of a long, hard experience, or it could mean the end of a life. The sun never looks so pretty going down could be coming to terms with your own mortality, appreciating the good things in life when you reach the end. It can mean all of these things. It's up to you to decide. That's one of the beautiful things about songs.
But the sun never looks so pretty going down. The sun never looks so pretty going down. Blue sky, come find me.
This section is really beautiful, like something you'd find on a Beatles or ELO album. First, let's listen to the vocals.
Going down, blue sky, come find me. I'm waiting.
Now let's listen to the guitars and the strings. It's a really beautiful string arrangement here. Now let's listen to all of it together.
going down. Blue sky, come find me. I'm waiting.
The added percussion is a nice touch.
Never looked so pretty.
They tease you with this guitar part, but it doesn't go back to the chorus.
Sun never looked so pretty.
The final verse. Cloud and rain, smoke and smog here. Won't see too many stars tonight. Biding time, waiting on a sunset. One last glance of gold, then goodbye.
Cloud and rain, smoke and smog here. Won't see too many stars tonight. Biding time, waiting on a sunset. One last glance of gold, then goodbye.
Let's hear the vocals again.
In my town they live. Everybody looks at the ground. And where I am is making me hazy. But the sun never looks so pretty going down. There's no blue sky in my town lately. Everybody looks at the ground. I've been distracted and around crazy. The sun never looks so pretty going down.
Listen to those strings. You know, I'm not always a fan of strings, but they really work here. The Thorns, No Blue Sky. There's an old expression, this too shall pass. There'll be a time when we're not feeling the hurt, anger, and fear, the trauma of this year. It could be that you're listening to this some years later, after the dumpster fire that is 2020 is past. Hopefully, things are better. Maybe this song will feel differently then. But we've all lived through what was today. Music is one way to connect and cope with challenging times, to share the feeling even when we're isolated from each other, and the sun never looks so pretty going down. Thank you for joining me on this episode. We'll return in 2 weeks with a new episode. Until then, you can binge on all our previous shows on our website, lovethatsongpodcast.com. Find us on Facebook and share your feelings. Just look for the I'm in Love with That Song podcast. You'll find us. This show is one of many great podcasts on the Pantheon Podcast Network. Thanks again, and hang in there. One more time, here's No Blue Sky by the Thorns.
Cold outside.